Hello and welcome to my ongoing series, Roblox Myths Explained. In this series, I talk about various different Roblox myths and everything you need to know about them. In today's episode, we'll be talking about the Smiles family. As always, make sure to hit the like button and to subscribe to the channel or else you will have bad breath. So, without further ado, let's get into it. The Smiles family is a Roblox group myth that is based around a family that lived on an island known as Hallam Island, as well as dealing with the loss of the mother and son. What the family doesn't know, however, is that an alien known as Diamond Eyes/Oku Ada had been terrorizing Hallam Island for many years. The Smiles family is one of the biggest Roblox myths in the history of the community, with their main group having over 210,000 members. With this popularity, many content creators have covered their myth, giving them even more exposure. We'll talk about this and much more in this video. The story of the Smiles family dates all the way back to November 11th, 2018, with the creation of the Set Smiles account. This means that outside of the lore, Set Smiles is the oldest member of the Smiles family. The second oldest account, Robert Smiles, was created on December 1st, 2018. This would make him the second oldest member of the myth outside of the lore. Following this, Lloyd Joe's account was created on December 22nd, 2018. This would make him the third oldest member of the Smiles family myth. The next account to be created would be Dan Stickman's account. He joined Roblox on January 24th, 2019. This would make him the fourth oldest member of the Smiles family myth. Two more important accounts would follow, Leo Smiles and Nancy Smiles. The two of them joined Roblox on January 27, 2019. Both Leo and Nancy would become important characters in the myth's lore. The seventh account to be created is the Gorilla. He joined Roblox on April 11, 2019. This would make the Gorilla the seventh oldest member of the Smiles family myth. The eighth account to join Roblox would be Diamond Eyes/Oku Ada. She joined the Smiles family myth on November 3rd, 2019. This would obviously make her the eighth oldest member of the Smiles family myth. Two more accounts would be made, Claire J. Smiles and Matthew J. Smiles. The two of them joined Roblox on November 27th, 2019. This was also the same day as my 15th birthday, just so you know. Both Claire and Matthew, along with Seth, would become the three main characters of the Smiles family. One final account would be made, that being Roy Joe. Roy joined Roblox on February 12, 2020. This would make him the 11th oldest and the youngest member of the Smiles family myth. 6 days after Seth Smiles joined Roblox, he created the game The Smiles Household. The same game will be last updated a few days prior to writing this. Expect this to change as time goes on. Like I mentioned earlier, a few members of the Smiles family myth would join Roblox after this game was released. Following the creation of Dan Stickman's account, the game Dan's Diner was created and released to the public. This occurred on January 25th, 2019. The game was last updated on March 18th, 2022. Also following this, several Smiles family members would join Roblox. The final game to get created, Returning to Reality, would be made on October 10th, 2019. This would make it the most recent game to be made as well as one of the most recent additions to the myth. In late 2019, Roblox YouTuber Flamingo would create the first video in a series about the Smiles family. This would cause the myth to gain a very big boost of popularity, which led to them becoming known within the Roblox myth community. Some of these said videos would reach tens of millions of views. As a result of this, other Roblox content creators would make their own videos on the Smiles family myth. This would go on until February of 2021, when Flamingo would make his final video on the Smiles family myth, therefore concluding his series. Fast forward to February of 2022, and Roblox YouTuber Creekcraft held a livestream dedicated to investigating the Smiles family myth. Just a fun fact, but my original video on their myth was featured in it. Anyway, this livestream led to a renewed interest in the Smiles family myth, giving them thousands of new fans. Around the same time, the Smiles family would hold an anniversary livestream to celebrate the myth's conclusion. The cast members of the Smiles family went over stories about the myth, showed behind the scenes footage, and gave their overall thoughts on the support they received. Going back to Creekcraft, he would follow up the livestream with a video of the Smiles family giving him a tour. Whether this is a one-off or the first part of a series will be decided through time. There is a lot of lore to cover about the Smiles family, so I'm gonna try my best to explain everything. Don't be surprised if this section gets very long. So, the story begins on July 20th, 1936. On this day, a party was held in the Smiles family house, which Roy Joe and Lloyd Joe both attended. However, something went wrong. Roy Joe ended up suffocating and passing away. Lloyd tried to wake Roy up, but then Diamond Eyes appeared out of nowhere. Diamond Eyes then told Lloyd Joe that she can bring Roy back if he did something in return. Lloyd then agreed, which led him to cause a gas leak in the Smiles family household. This same gas leak killed everyone that was attending the party. Afterwards, Diamond Eyes proceeded to possess Lloyd Joe. All of this sets up the rest of the story of the Smiles family. Sometime later, the Smiles family got into a car crash and this ended up killing Nancy Smiles and Leo Smiles. Who caused this car crash? One word. Diamond Eyes. This isn't anything big, but on July 7th, 1966, Robert was talking to Matthew and Claire in their home in Ludlow, Maine for whatever reason. Fast forward to November 27th, 1994, over 58 years after the initial incident at the Smiles family household. The events of Albert's videos on the Smiles family plays out, which I won't talk about since there's a lot of events to cover. In the original draft of this video, I was going to explain the events of all 3 videos, but it ended up making the video script about 10 pages long, so I decided not to explain it. A basic summary is that in the first video, Albert meets with the Smiles family and the initial events of the myth story occurs, such as the Smiles household exploding and Robert Smiles killing himself. In the same video, Dan Stickman comes to adopt the kids after the house explodes. In the next video, we fast forward to November 2013 and several secrets are revealed in Dan's Diner, the restaurant that Dan Stickman owns. The biggest of these secrets includes a cave under the diner that tells a story. In the video that was released after this, Dan Stickman leads Albert to a hole in the ruins of the Smiles household that leads to an area where Albert and the Smiles family defeat Diamond Eyes. This wasn't without Matthew dying in the process. Therefore, 4 members of the Smiles family ended up passing away throughout the entire story. I know the explanation wasn't the best, but at least there was effort put into it. Since there's several members of the Smiles family myth, I'm gonna be going over the appearances of the main characters. So, let's get into it. The appearance of Seth Smiles currently consists of an all-peach skin tone along with the red stripes t-shirt, the jeans pants, and a Rick hair accessory. In my opinion, this avatar is pretty clean and simple. It doesn't have a lot of detail, which is nice. Overall, I give Seth Smiles' avatar an 8 out of 10 mainly because of the simpleness it has. As for the next character, Claire J. Smiles' avatar currently consists of a yellow peach skin tone along with the light blue Santa hat, the brunette action ponytail hair accessory, the freckles face, the overalls with stripes shirt, and the blackout pants. In my opinion, this avatar looks really nice and cute for the amount of items that it has. It's not a lot of items, but not a low amount either. The outfit works as they all have the color blue in it. Overall, I give Claire J. Smiles' avatar a 9 out of 10 for looking really good and simple. Moving on to the third character, Matthew J. Smiles' avatar currently consists of an all-peach skin tone along with the ostrich-sized winter scarf neck accessory, the blonde winter hair accessory, the awkward eye roll face, the black-yellow jacket shirt, and the jeans pants. In my opinion, this avatar looks pretty nice and is iconic within the Roblox myth community. For an avatar with only 5 items, it doesn't look bad at all. Overall, I give Matthew J. Smiles' avatar an 8 out of 10 for being a very good one. For the final character, the appearance of Robert Smiles' avatar currently consists of an all-peach skin tone along with the brown hair, the suspenders shirt, and the black slacks pants. In my opinion, this avatar is very simple and it shows. Even though it's not the greatest avatar in the world, it still looks pretty nice. Overall, I give Robert Smiles' avatar a 7 out of 10 for still looking good despite the lack of items. For this section, I'm going to be talking about the personalities of the main characters of the Smiles family myth. So, let's get into it. Robert Smiles tends to act annoyed and impatient, but he's also very nice and open. This, however, changed when he was resurrected. When this happened, Robert acted very violent and unpleasant. An example of this is him calling Roblox YouTuber Flamingo fatty when he met Diamond Eyes. Seth Smiles acted very happy and was also nice when he was younger. In 2013, he had depression but was still nice to other people. Claire J. Smiles is normally quiet and shy while still being nice to other people. She also gets along with Albert pretty well. Out of everyone in the family, Claire is the most quiet family member. Matthew is described as being edgy and brave, which is seen when Seth talked about the thing he saw in the bathtub. It goes as far as actually sacrificing himself to save Albert and the other members of the Smiles family. Despite being edgy, Matthew still cares for his family and takes good care of his siblings. I will talk about the rest of the family members, but again, this section would get pretty long if I did. The Smiles Family Myth currently has 3 games associated with them. In order, the games are The Smiles Household, Dan's Diner, and Returning to Reality. The most popular of the 3 is The Smiles Household, with over 5.7 million place visits at the time of writing this. The game was created on November 17, 2018, and was last updated on March 18, 2022. Since I can, I'll be talking about what can be found in-game. So, the game starts with a cutscene that shows a boat traveling to Hallam Island. When the boat reaches the dock, the player finally spawns in. Obviously, the port leads to Hallam Island. There is a long path that one can take before reaching the actual house, but I'm going to talk about something at the bottom. Next to the entrance of the island, there is a garage that contains a few things. There is a car parked inside the garage along with a board that contains a shovel, an axe, and a few photos of the Smiles family. One can grab the shovel and can be used to dig in Cemetery Island, but I'll go over that later. Anyway, one has to go up a hill in order to get to the Smiles household. However, I just used the shortcut in order to save time. When you get to the actual house, one can see a garden flamingo as well as a few bushes right next to the porch. On the right side of the house, there's an entrance to the basement, but I won't talk about that right now. On the porch of the Smiles household, there's a swinging chair that one can sit on. After this, we can see the actual house. The player enters the living room, which contains a few things such as 2 sofas, a few paintings, a TV set, a billiards table, and a lamp in the corner. The next area is the kitchen, which contains a refrigerator, a sink with dirty dishes, some shelves, and a microwave that is plugged in. The room following this is the diner room, which contains a few things such as a dinner table, a table with a phonogram and vinyl records, a corner with photos of the members of the Smiles family, and a photo of Hallam Island in 1912. That is everything for the first floor. Now we can move on to the second floor. So, there are 3 rooms that one can access and I'll be going over each of them. The first room that one can enter is Matthew and Seth's room. In here, one can find a bunk bed along with a few rock posters, some clothes on both beds, a table, a TV with a video game console, and a fan on the ceiling. You can touch the clothes on the bed and it'll add it to the player's avatar. I personally like that there is a Queen poster on the wall next to Matthew and Seth's bed. Anyway, the next room that one can enter is Claire's room. Some things that can be found here include some shirts on the bed, a bookshelf, a desk with pictures of cats, and some photos and drawings on the walls. I like the color of the walls found in Claire's room. Anyway, the third and final room on the second floor is the bathroom. Here, one can see a toilet, a window, a sink with various items, a cabinet with pills, and a shower. One can open and close the shower curtain, but there's not much else to see here. That's everything for the second floor, and now we can move on to the third floor. There isn't too much to see on the third floor, but what is on the third floor is pretty important. Here, the office of Robert Smiles can be found along with his bedroom, which doesn't contain much. The room of interest is Robert Smiles' office. Inside, one can find a few desks with various items, a bookshelf, a shelf with plates inside of it, and papers on the desks. One of the tables has a safe that requires a code to open, but I'll get to that later on in the video. There's a computer on top of the main desk that one can use. Next to the computer are a couple photos of Nancy and Robert Smiles when they were younger. Anyway, there are 3 documents that one can access on Robert Smiles' computer. Each of the 3 files are notes that Robert has written down, so I'll be reading them one by one. Note number 1 goes as follows.
I honestly can't handle what is happening. I feel as if the world around me is closing in on itself, and I'm in the middle of all of it. My kids and I are traumatized over the crash. I swear, each night before I fall asleep, I hear it. The sound of that motor zooming down the road at full speed. The driver claimed he just felt like going pedal to the metal that day. I truly think the universe hates me.
There is also a second note which reads as follows.
Gah. Why did I have to lose them? When I got the phone call that Leo and Nancy were dead, I was devastated. We had them buried at Cemetery Island. I've been looking into the deep web for any hope on resurrection, until I came across this one article. The article is about a ritual which brings the dead to life. It claims that the ritual originates from another worldly tribe. I keep a shovel in the garage, but I'll do anything to bring them back. All the article says I need now is a sacrifice.
There is a third and final note on the computer which reads as follows.
Lately I've been looking through the cellar, but one day I surprisingly came across these scattered newspapers. I read them and realized they were all about Hallam Island. Some of them included the darkest history of the island since 1910. I'm not sure if this place is safe for my family, but I think I'll stay. I could write a book called The Dark History of Hallam Island, written by best-selling author Robert Smiles. I can picture it now. I'm going to be a millionaire.
All three of these notes allude to a story of Robert dealing with depression due to the deaths of Nancy and Leo Smiles. The final note also alludes to Robert finding out the history of Hallam Island and an idea of how to make profit off of his knowledge. All of this adds to Robert Smiles' backstory and what his intentions are to deal with the deaths of people close to him. One can take a boat to Cemetery Island and there will be something for the player to do that requires the shovel found in the Smiles family garage. What am I talking about? Well, there are a lot of graves, but two of them are particularly special. The two graves in question are of Nancy and Leo Smiles. One can use the shovel to dig up either of the graves, which will give the player different things. For example, digging up the grave of Leo Smiles will give you a note that reveals the code to the safe in Robert Smiles' office. Once the code is obtained, the player can return to Hallam Island and enter the code to the safe. When this is done, the safe will show a key inside. The key in question goes to the basement, which can be accessed by going outside and to the right of the house. Once the player clicks on the basement door, they will get teleported to the basement, which contains a few things. For one, there are several newspaper articles that are the same ones Robert Smiles talked about in his notes. I won't read them because they're too long and I don't want to waste any time. All you need to know is that the articles talk about events such as the house being built on Hallam Island and a party where 50 people sadly died. The house's boiler is also in the basement, whose wheel you can turn. I don't know if it actually does anything though. In one of the walls, there is an opening with lots of white dots. In fact, this is a teleporter to a different game. When one touches the opening, the player gets teleported to a game called Poignant Reality. In this game, the player spawns near a hill that one can go up. When one goes up said hill, they can see a model of Robert and Nancy Smiles sitting down on a blanket. The two are out on what I assume is a picnic. However, in the distance, there's a demon looking at the two of them. This gives one the idea that bad things are going to happen to the couple in question. Other than that, there isn't much else to explore in game. In my opinion, the Smiles household is a very interesting game that is very well built. This is definitely a game that I think you should go explore. I mean, there's a lot of lore to find in the Smiles household, which makes their myth even better. I will talk about the rest of the Smiles family's games, but this section would become very long if I did that. Also, I don't want to spoil anything about them. As one might know, trivia is just extra facts that are relevant enough to make it onto the video. Just know, I won't go over every piece of trivia since there's a lot of it, so I'll only be covering the most important facts. So, without further ado, let's get into it. The first piece of trivia is that Robert Smiles is possibly based on the character Jack Torrance from the movie The Shining, an adaptation of Stephen King's novel of the same name. It hasn't been confirmed, however, so it is unknown if this is true. The second piece of trivia is that member Seth Smiles is the second Roblox myth to reach 1 million plays visits, with the first being Chuck Lloyd. The game that made Seth accomplish this feat is the Smiles household. Anyway, the third piece of trivia is that there were rumors that Seth Smiles was actually Kazdam. The said rumors have been proven false since Seth himself has confirmed it was a joke. The fourth piece of trivia is that whenever Claire draws something, it usually ends up happening in the future. An instance is when Albert and the Smiles family ran into a maze. Claire said that she drew something similar to it, which caused her to lead everyone to the exit. Now I want Claire to draw me finding $1 million. The fifth piece of trivia is that Diamond Eyes is a female due to the fact that in Samus Twisted's video on the Smiles family, Lloyd Joe referred to Diamond Eyes as ma'am. The sixth piece of trivia is that it is speculated that Roy Joe and Lloyd Joe are brothers. It becomes obvious when you look at their last names, which is Joe. Mama. The 7th piece of trivia is that Roblox YouTuber Flamingo thought that Dan Stickman was untrustworthy due to the fact that he appeared after Lloyd Joe wanted to get the children. This, however, ended up being false as Dan Stickman and Lloyd Joe are not the same person. The 8th piece of trivia is that one of Matthew's hobbies is playing video games. This is proven with the gaming console seen in his room with Seth. The two are known to play video games together. What kind of video games, you may ask? Well, that's up to your imagination. The 9th and final piece of trivia is that the final appearance of all the members associated with the Smiles family was in the final cutscene of Albert's video, as well as in Returning to Reality. The ending of Returning to Reality also marks the end of the Smiles family myth. There is more trivia about the Smiles family that I could mention, but this section would get very long if I did. To wrap this all up, the Smiles family is a Roblox myth group that is best known for being based around a family that lives on an island, which has a pretty rich history. Their myth has been covered by various Roblox YouTubers as well as being the biggest Roblox myth group. Along with this, the Smiles family was the first myth to finish their story. There are 11 members related to the Smiles family myth, each of which have become popular within the community. The story of the Smiles family dates all the way back to November of 2018, and several games were made to showcase their myth story. Their games are very well made and are important to understanding the myth's lore. Each character of the Smiles family myth is important and also essential to understanding their lore. In 2019 and 2020, the Smiles family myth would explode in popularity and develop a large fanbase dedicated to their myth. However, the myth would go inactive until February of 2021, when the conclusion of the myth story came and thus ended the journey of a famous Roblox myth. Regardless, the Smiles family left a big impact on the Roblox myth community and would set an example for all future family myths. That being said, the Smiles family will forever be an iconic Roblox myth, and that's everything.